Welcome, everyone. Let's dive into some really intriguing insights today about how some high stakes actions have rattled a major defense industry and economy, specifically looking at the recent analysis by Larry Johnson, a former intelligence analyst with CIA and a background in counterterrorism at the State Department.
I'm all in. What's the core scenario here?
Right, so Larry Johnson lays out this really fascinating claim that Israel's defense industry, its military, and even its broader economy have suffered extensive damage following what's described as a surprise attack on Iran.
Fascinating. Hold on. So, if I've got this correctly, you're telling me that Israel launched an unexpected strike on Iran, and instead of gaining an upper hand, it ended up hurting its own defense and economy?
Exactly, it's a bit counterintuitive, right? I mean, you'd normally expect a military move to strengthen their position, but according to Larry, this surprise attack backfired in a big way.
Yeah, wow. That's wild. So, how does Larry Johnson explain the specific damages?
Well, he draws on his deep background in intelligence, noting that such high risk moves often have ripple effects. It's like, you're trying to hit a moving target, but it also shakes things internally, in the defense sector, in military readiness, and the economic ramifications compound those issues.
Right, exactly. And I assume the analysis digs into these ripple effects by connecting dots between the military action and economic instability, right?
Absolutely. You see, Larry points out that the damage isn't just limited to tactical failures, but extends to long term strategic vulnerabilities. For instance, the rapid shift in defense priorities causes a strain in production, increasing costs, and, undermining strategic reserves.
That makes sense. It's almost as if the incident triggered a domino effect. First the military mishap, then the economic fallout, all intertwined.
Yes, exactly. It's like when you drop a heavy object into a calm pond, the ripples spread far longer than you'd initially expect. And in this case, the ripples are touching everything from industry supply chains to national defense policies.
That's a vivid analogy. Now, can we talk a bit about Larry's credentials? His background really sets the stage for his analysis, doesn't it?
For sure. His experience at the CIA and the Office of Counterterrorism means he's seen a lot from on the inside, which gives his analysis a unique perspective. And even though some might call his views controversial, his detailed walkthrough of events lends weight to what he's saying.
Absolutely. Yet, don't you think there's a bit of an overreach here? I mean, could it be that his personal background might also color his interpretation of these events?
That's a good point. There is always a risk, right, of personal bias. When you've been part of the system, you might see things in a certain light. But his detailed data and the way he correlates industry effects with military choices do suggest a solid analytical grounding.
Yeah, I see that. Interesting. And then there's his article on sonar that he discusses alongside the video. What additional insights does that provide?
Right, his article on sonar digs deeper into the mechanics of these consequences. It's almost a detailed playbook of the unintended side effects of aggressive military maneuvers. For example, he argues that the failure to properly assess strategic vulnerabilities not only weakens defense capabilities, but also destabilizes economic confidence among
really
allies
intriguing.
and investors.
Wow, so it's not just immediate damage, it's a longer term strategic decline.
Correct. It's like, a short term tactical win can be a long term strategic pitfall. Larry's analysis points out that the fallout stretches well beyond the battlefield. It influences everything from arms production to diplomatic relations and economic policies.
Yep, absolutely. It makes you really rethink the cost benefit analyses of such moves, doesn't it?
Exactly. And consider the fact that Israel's defense industry is not just a military asset, but also a significant economic engine. So when it suffers, you get a double whammy: diminished military capability and economic strain.
That dual impact is critical. And this strategic overextension might also be reflective of broader patterns in global military actions, right?
Yeah, totally. It's like a cautionary tale, where overzealous strategies can lead to vulnerabilities that extend beyond what one might see on paper. And when national symbolism and economic stability start to crumble together, the repercussions are massive.
Right, exactly. I also noticed that the video was shared under Glenn Deason's channel. Does that add a different flavor to the discussion?
It does. Glenn Deason is known for hosting content that challenges conventional narratives. So, his involvement reinforces the perspective that these events are more than isolated incidents. They're part of a bigger geopolitical chess game.
Interesting indeed. And given the wide viewership, over 246,000 views, it seems like this analysis is really striking a chord with people around the globe.
Absolutely. There's a lot of buzz because the topic touches on national security, economic stability, and even the integrity of defense industries. When you combine all those, you get a very charged discussion.
Right on, yes. One thing I keep wondering though, isn't there a risk that such discussions might stir up further tensions? I mean, is it possible that the narrative could be misconstrued for propaganda?
That's a really valid concern. Larry Johnson's approach is quite provocative, and whenever you dissect sensitive topics like military actions and economic warfare, there's always a line between analysis and, well, stirring up controversy.
Yep, absolutely. So, do you think his analysis stands up to academic scrutiny, or is it more a rallying cry for a particular viewpoint?
It's a bit of both, honestly. While his detailed breakdown does offer a compelling narrative, some critics argue that his conclusions might lean too heavy on the dramatic consequences without accounting adequately for alternative interpretations.
I can see that. Right, like sometimes a strategic mishap doesn't mean total ruin. It could be a temporary setback that's eventually mitigated through policy changes or new defense measures.
Exactly, and that's where a healthy debate comes in. You have to question whether the extensive damage predicted is as irreversible as he suggests, or if there might be countermeasures that could rebound the situation
Yes,
later.
absolutely. It's sort of the old adage. Every action has a reaction, but sometimes that reaction is just a hiccup in a larger, more complex system.
Yep, perfect analogy. And when you consider its broader implications on geographic stability and defense policy, it really does challenge any simplistic win-lose narratives.
Right, very true. You know, it's fascinating how a single event can ripple out to affect so many layers, from industry to international diplomacy.
Absolutely. It's like dropping a stone into water. Its ripples reach much further than the point of impact. And in this case, those ripples are shaking the core of Israel's military-industrial complex as well as its economic foundations.
Yeah, that imagery really clicks. And it reinforces the need for not just reactive but proactive strategy when it comes to national security, especially in a volatile region.
Exactly. It's a lesson in strategic planning where you must balance aggressive tactics with long-term stability. Larry Johnson's analysis, with its mix of sharp insights and controversial stances, really pushes us to reconsider what the real costs of such military actions are.
So true. Overall, whether you completely agree with his conclusions or not, the discussion certainly opens up a lot of avenues for thinking about how military actions can deeply influence economic and industrial realities.
Precisely. And while some might critique his approach as being overly dramatic, it does serve as a stark reminder that in international affairs, every decision, every strike, echoes far beyond the immediate battlefield.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a call for careful strategic thinking, ensuring that ambition in defense doesn't morph into self-destruction.
Right. It's a delicate balance, and this analysis definitely underlines that. Thanks for diving into this complex topic with me today. There's so much more to unpack here in future discussions.
For sure, looking forward to it. And thanks for the deep dive. It's been enlightening to explore the layers behind these high-stakes moves.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep questioning and keep exploring these pivotal issues.